Singh has written to the Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah and asked him to identify land for rehabilitation of Kashmiri migrants. That's the big development this afternoon. This after he cancelled his two-day visit to the state, Jammu and Kashmir, owing to the floods and the situation there, inclement weather situation there. Mr. Junaid Mattu of the National Conference with us on the phone. Mr. Mattu, what will be the National Conference's position on the Union Home Minister's letter to the Chief Minister?
Let me say something very quickly. We're battling an emergency. We've lost more than 100 lives right now. So anybody asking us a reaction when we are facing a natural calamity on this is a little insensitive, but I'll give you a reaction. Pandits have been rehabilitated by this government. Colonies for them have this question of how they have to be rehabilitated. That has been debated. But this government has done more for the Pandit community than any other government has or can do. We are committed to their rehabilitation and that is our own stand. And we are committed to rehabilitating them. The means and the ways of rehabilitating them in the procedural manner, we might disagree there, but this is absolutely nothing new. This has been happening. The state government has been doing this for the last 6 years. The previous NC government started doing it in the 96 with bypassing laws in the Legislative Assembly, and we did it till 2002. Then we came to power in...
But Mr. Mattu, quickly, I know you're also pressed for time, but just one final question. Will there be active movement on this? Because Rajnath Singh actually wanted to meet with the Chief Minister and top state officials, including the Governor, N.N. Vora, to try and get things on paper, concretize a proper structure and plan. Do you think the Jammu and Kashmir government will move forward?
We will move forward. It was the Jammu and Kashmir government that has been actually pressing the central government to take decisions on such measures. We have been waiting.
So you are open to creating separate colonies for Kashmiri migrants?
We have disagreed with the idea of creating settlements, because then that is against the very idea of rehabilitation. You can't create settlements and exclude a community. That is not rehabilitation. We have asked, the package for construction of Pandit houses was 7 lakhs. We bargained and we kept negotiating and we kept pleading, and we increased that to 20 lakhs. That was done by on the state government's insistence. So let us see, let the central government authorities and the state government authorities sit together and do what is needed for the Pandit community.
Well, Mr. Mattu, thanks for talking to us, and our thoughts with those who are caught in that inclement weather situation in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. We've got Mr. Ashok Pandit also with us on the phone. A welcome move by Mr. Rajnath Singh. Mr. Pandit?
Yeah, I think it's a very good move by the Home Minister, and I think now it should not be only talks, but I think the centre has to pressurize the state government to start creating homeland for Kashmiri Pandits who basically belong to the valley. And I also want to request one thing, is that we are not migrants, we are displaced people. We have not come out of Kashmir on our own. We have been thrown out. And not what Junaid Mattu was saying in his brief, that we don't want that colonies to be made as a permanent rehabilitation. I think it can be a permanent rehabilitation, because it's he and his party and his people who are responsible for our ouster from Kashmir on the religious lines.
No, the point of difference is that on the one hand, there is talk of creating a separate settlement. The National Conference-led government in Jammu and Kashmir says we don't want to create a separate settlement, but we will identify land. Now, the onus is on Omar Abdullah to identify the land. So he can identify the land right in the heart of the settlements of where already existing settlements, and say, let's integrate and you can all come back and live here. But that's the onus is on the Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister to make sure this naturalization happens homogeneously.
No, we have been asking for the entire belt of northeast of River Jhelum, where the Kashmiri Pandits can settle down. And now even the locals who are there are not safe. So how does the state government expect us to come and live there with those very people who are responsible for our ouster? So a separate homeland for Kashmiri Pandits is a requirement, is a must. And slowly and steadily, when things will hopefully get normal, we will become a part of the entire valley. So what's the problem there?
Mr. Pandit,
why the state government or Mr. Omar Abdullah even discuss about it? He should start taking this idea with his open arms.
Well, the National Conference has, so far, when we heard what Mr. Mattu said, that they have been very positive and they're looking, they are working in this process of creating colonies or rehabilitating people who were forced out of the state. Mr. Pandit, do stay on with us. I'm just going to go across to our correspondent Ashwarya for some more details and clarification of what the letter says. Does it talk about identifying a separate piece of land, a different area altogether, or is the onus being left on Omar Abdullah himself? Aishwarya.
Well, Anand, that's absolutely correct. And now what we are being told, right after this letter, the Home Minister has called the J&K Chief Minister just few minutes prior. And rather, in that telephonic conversation, once again, it has been reiterated by the Home Minister Anand there that yes, land needs to be identified by the state government in this very regard, but on rather addition to that, keeping in mind that this needs to be given within a week's time. That's what we are being told now by our sources, Anand, that the Home Minister has put a time limit on this and has told that to reply back within a week, keeping in mind that there are going to be elections in the state of J&K. This is going to be one of the most important issues, is rehabilitation of the Kashmiri Pandits, and you could see that the political reactions are pouring in on this very issue. Once again, our Home Minister writing and then calling the J&K Chief Minister first and rather foremost regarding this very Kashmiri Pandit.
No, but Aishwarya, I think I still have Mr. Ashok Pandit on the phone, and I request him to stay on with us, because here's the issue. What is the government's position? Because this seems to be a point of standoff. On the one hand, you have those who want to go back into Kashmir, who were forced out of the state because of the situation there. They want a separate settlement. But the National Conference and the Jammu and Kashmir government say there is no point and there is no question of trying to create a separate settlement altogether, because if it has got to be rehabilitation, it has to happen with the existing settlement. They will come back and live among the people of Kashmir who are currently staying there. So that's the standoff. So what's the government's position on that?
Well, Anand, as of now, what we are being told that the Home Minister is waiting for the reply of the J&K Chief Minister, because yes, this is the third communication in this very regard between the central government and then in turn the J&K CM. So as of now, MHA is waiting for the response of the J&K CM. As you mentioned, yes, there is a bit of divergence of views on this very issue. While the Kashmiri Pandits are looking for a complete separate settlement, the government wants that you need to come back and mix, because until unless that happens, it is not going to be good for the community there and then in turn for the state of J&K. But at the end of the day, MHA has not taken a very specific regard to this. As of now, they want that the state of J&K should come back with the specifics. What is the amount of land and where exactly are they ready to rehabilitate all of these Kashmiri Pandits who have been citizens of that very state, and now they were
right. Aishwarya, I'm going to go across to Mr. Pandit now and get his point of view here. Now, the government has left it on the Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister to revert within a week, Mr. Pandit. So, will you be also waiting to see what Omar Abdullah comes up with?
See, Omar Abdullah has come up with, and his father has come up with suggestions and solutions since last so many years, when the earlier UPA government also was there. But the point is that they are not serious about it. And center government, center should have no choice and no much discussions and alternatives left to the state government. And one more thing which I don't understand is the center should involve the organizations of Kashmiri Pandits and ask Kashmiri Pandits as to what exactly they are looking out for. What are their demands? What are their considerations? There are so many organizations who have been fighting since last 25 years. So our demand has been a separate homeland under the Indian Constitution, where the Indian Constitution will be fully adhered to as far as this homeland is concerned. And anybody from the country can come and settle down there in this homeland which they are asking for. So the people who are responsible for our ouster, how can they allow us to come back and live with them? How is it possible? We have, our places have been, burnt. Our temples have been desecrated. They are not allowing us to visit Kosovo.
Right.